Hello friends, welcome back. Today in our medieval history series, let us talk about Mahmud Ghazni. Now Mahmud Ghazni was of the Ghaznavid Empire, which was founded by Sebuddin, alright, and Sebuddin was his father, Mahmud Ghazni's father, okay, and Sebuddin had taken over large tracts of Central Asia and, not Central Asia, sorry, large tracts of Central Persia, and from Persia his empire had extended as far as the, limits of the, or the boundaries of the Indus, alright, and it was this empire from which Mahmud Ghazni's attack came in India, okay. So Sebuddin, after his death, Mahmud Ghazni at the age of 27 became the ruler of the Ghaznavid Empire, okay, ruler of Ghaznavid Empire, and the capital of the Ghaznavid Empire was at Ghazni, which is near present day Kabul, okay, it is near present day Kabul, alright. So from this capital itself he extended his intrusions into India, alright. And however, what we have to remember about Mahmud of Ghazni's attack upon India is that it was not in the form of a political state formation, okay. His attacks were mostly geared towards loot and plunder, okay. He was looting and plundering India in order to fuel the growth of his own empire and the growth of his capital, specifically, that is Ghazni. He was moved by the ambition of making Ghazni one of the finest cities of medieval India, and therefore of medieval history, one of the finest cities of medieval history, and therefore he being moved with that spirit, he looted and plundered India for about 25 years, and with this loot and plunder, with the resources that he acquired, he made Ghazni into one of the finest capitals of that particular period of time. And we have to remember about his attacks is that his attacks begin somewhere around 1000 AD, okay, and they go on till 1025-26 AD, okay. With 1025-26 it comes to a close with the invasion of the temple of with the destruction of the temple of Somnath, which is in Gujarat, okay, near the Kathiawar coast. It is situated at the Kathiawar coast, Somnath temple, and the Somnath temple was desecrated by Mahmud Ghazni, okay, and it is one of the important events of the history of India, as also because of the fact that it is one of the contentious events of the history of India. And you see various histories which give religion as a preceding or as a motivating factor behind history. You see such kind of histories obviously focus upon the Somnath temple desecration, okay. What I am trying to say is that communalist histories, they highlight this kind of events, okay, communal histories, they highlight this kind of events in order to, you see, separate the religions and separate the communities and bring in more, you see, disharmony among the communities. So before talking about these events in particular and the end of Mahmud Ghazni's invasion, of course we have to go through his invasions itself, right. So it begins, as I said, from about around about 1000 AD, and you see at that point of time the Hindu Kush area was ruled by the Hindu Shahis, okay, Hindu Shahi dynasty, and the ruler at this point of time of the Hindu Shahis was Jayapal, okay, and it was this Jayapala who was defeated in the first battle that took place between Mahmud Ghazni and Jayapala, okay. However, in 1009 again Jayapal's son Anandapal challenged Mahmud Ghazni, and Anandapal was also defeated, okay. So and later on there were attacks which were made upon the Gurjara Pratiharas. Gurjara Pratihara, this is another dynasty which ruled in the northwestern part of India, especially situated around Kannauj area, okay. And the Gurjara Pratiharas were also attacked upon, they were also looted and plundered, alright. And then you see the Chalukyas and Chandelas also came under attack. Firstly the Chandelas and then the Chalukyas. Okay, they also came under attack. All right, and these attacks of Mahmud Ghazni, it only stopped in 1025 when the Somnath temple was desecrated. Somnath temple was desecrated. It was, you see, the Somnath temple was under the stewardship of the ruler of Anhilwara. Which is situated in Gujarat, the seat of power in Gujarat, that is Anhilwara. It was ruled over by the Chalukyas. Okay, and the Chalukya ruler at this point of time was Bhima the First. Okay, and Bhima the First, you see, the conflict which resulted in the desecration of the Somnath temple, it was, you see, one of the belligerents was Bhima the First, and you see, our Mahmud of Ghazni was able to defeat Bhima the First, and he was able to desecrate the Somnath temple. According to contemporary sources, especially you see Firdausi's Shahnama, we know that somewhere around 50,000 Hindus were killed in this conflict. Okay, 50,000 Hindus were killed in this conflict, and a huge amount of wealth was amassed by Mahmud Ghazni, and this was his final attack, and he promptly returned back to Ghazni, and in Ghazni he again fueled the enterprise of making his capital one of the most beautiful and one of the most richest capital of this period of time. Okay, and you see, by the invasions of Mahmud of Ghazni, it is known that the balance of power that has been established previously in India in the early medieval phase was, you see, it was shattered, and therefore, after Mahmud Ghazni's invasions, the Ghurids found it very easy to invade India, and then the beginning of the Sultanate Empire was also, we can also trace it back to the effects of Mahmud Ghazni's invasion of India, that is the destabilization of the balance of power, which was, you see, the basis of political scenario at that point of time. That is the early medieval period. Okay, that is, you see, the beginning of the Muslim invasions of India. So, in the series of Muslim invasions of India, first we see that it is the Arab conquest of India, Arab conquest of Sindh. All right, and then comes Mahmud Ghazni. Okay, Mahmud Ghazni. This is in the 700s, AD 700s. Okay, and the Arabs, they remain only in Sindh because the Gurjara Pratiharas and the Chandelas and Chalukyas, they are quite strong at that point of time. They are quite strong, and they are able to resist the Arabs and their invasion upon mainland India. However, by the time of Mahmud Ghazni, we see that they have become weak, and therefore Mahmud Ghazni was able to loot and plunder India. Okay, and then the third attack will come in the form of the Ghurid invasion. Okay, and you see, that is the series from which we get the, that is the series of Muslim invasions of India from which we get the first Islamic state in India, that is the Sultanate, which is centered around Delhi. Now, as far as Mahmud Ghazni and Mahmud Ghazni's invasions on India is concerned, there are some debates about the nature of his invasions. Only, you see, only thing which is known for certain about such kind of debates is the fact that Mahmud Ghazni did not try to build any kind of political structure in India. He came in at the, his invasions will invariably begin at the commencement of the dry season, and he will go away before the monsoons hit, because it would logistically impair his soldiers on the return to Afghanistan, and therefore he used to invade in the dry season and he used to go back. He did not try to bring in any kind of political unity in India, or he did not try to establish any kind of political state in India. He was doing it just for the loot and plunder. And another debate that is centered around Mahmud Ghazni's invasion is that it was a highly Islamicized invasion of India, and it was focused upon destruction of temples. It was focused upon persecuting people of other religions that were living in India. All right, some elements of it might be truism, okay, because destruction of temples took place during Mahmud Ghazni's invasion. There were destruction of temples in Kannauj, in Mathura, and as we know by this time in Gujarat. However, we must understand that the modality of warfare for the Islamic people at that point of time includes the destruction of the religious temples or places of worship of other religions. Okay, this is part of the modality of warfare at that point of time, because Islam grew out as a you see, proselytizing religion. It grew out as a militant religion which believed in territorial expansion, and some elements of religiosity was incorporated within the idea of warfare itself, and therefore destruction of temple was part of warfare. Okay, destruction of not just temples but destruction of places of worship was part of the modality of warfare of that point of time, and therefore we cannot pinpoint and say that he was doing it just because he was a radical Islamist or he was a bigoted Islamist. We cannot say say that per se. Okay, we cannot accuse him of actually we cannot accuse any historical personality of anything, because it is not our job as historians to become moralistic. However, what we can say, it is part of the modality of warfare at that point of time. And then of course we know that he also persecuted the Shias, okay, of Multan. Shia rulers of Multan were also persecuted. So he was equally destructive for both Hindus and Muslims. We cannot say that he was destructive only for the Hindus. Okay, he was equally destructive of Hindus and Muslims both. So therefore, you see, these debates centering upon the nature of his attacks upon India, only thing that can be said for certain is that it was not meant to you see, create an empire in India. It was meant to loot and plunder India so as to fuel his own empire, which is based out of Ghazni. All right. So you see, this in essence is Mahmud Ghazni's invasion of India. As I already showed you the timeline, after the Arab invasion comes the Mahmud Ghazni invasion, and then we have got the Ghurid invasions, and then we will get the Sultanate of Delhi. So this is the timeline in which the Mahmud Ghazni invasion fits in the spectrum. Okay, there were 17 invasions, there were 17 attacks in totality during this period of 1000 AD to 1025-26 AD. Okay, 25 to be more precise, but you see, we can in some sources we get the date of 26 AD also, but during this 25-year period of invasion we get 17 total invasions which happened during the reign of Mahmud Ghazni, or during his incursions into India. So I hope that this is quite clear to you. I hope you will be studying hard. Thank you.